The quantum detection array hummed softly in the underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert. Dr. Alina Patel stood before the holographic display, her dark eyes reflecting the dancing patterns of light that represented humanity's most closely guarded secret. For 15 years, Earth had maintained a facade of technological regression while quietly advancing beyond anything their cosmic neighbors could imagine. Director Patel were detecting anomalous readings from the Kuiper Belt, announced Marcus Wung, her chief systems analyst. His fingers danced across the quantum interface as he pulled up the data streams. Pattern matches suggest cloaked vessels, at least 7 of them. Alina's expression remained neutral, but her heart raced. This was the moment they had prepared for since detecting the first signs of hostile intent from the galactic community. "Notify Admiral Harrison and activate Protocol Shadowkeeper," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. High above Earth's atmosphere, invisible to conventional detection methods, humanity's true defensive grid stirred to life. While the rest of the galaxy believed Earth had retreated into isolation and technological stagnation, the truth was far different. The apparent regression had been an elaborate deception, buying time for humanity to develop technologies that defied conventional understanding. In his office at the Global Defense Command, Admiral Thomas Harrison reviewed the incoming data with grim satisfaction. The distinguished commander, his silver hair cropped short and his dark skin weathered from years of service, had overseen the final phases of Earth's preparation. "How many species are represented in the approaching fleet?" he asked through the quantum link. "3 distinct drive signatures," Alina responded, studying the analysis. "Matching known profiles for Centaurian, Proximan, and Arcturian vessels, they're maintaining communication silence and running with minimal power signatures. Classic reconnaissance formation." Harrison nodded to himself. They took the bait. 15 years of playing technological hermit and they still couldn't resist probing our defenses. He accessed the command interface, authorizing the next phase of humanity's long-term strategy. "Begin passive tracking but maintain our technological blackout. Let them think they're undetected." In the depths of space, the alien vessels moved with practiced precision, their advanced cloaking technology making them invisible to what they believed were Earth's primitive detection systems. Commander Zexnar of the Centaurian Scout Force felt confident in their mission's success. His crystalline form pulsed with satisfaction as he reviewed their approach vector. "Preliminary scans confirm previous intelligence," his science officer reported. "No significant orbital defense infrastructure. Their satellite network remains primitive. No detection of quantum shielding or advanced weapon systems." Zexnar's crystalline appendages shifted in what his species considered a smile. "The humans have become reclusive and weak. The Council will be pleased to know we can proceed with the integration protocol." If only they knew what lurked beneath Earth's carefully crafted mask of vulnerability. In her command center, Alina watched the aliens' every move through systems that operated on principles the galaxy had yet to discover. Humanity had not regressed. They had simply chosen a different path of advancement. The quantum detection array showed more than just the physical presence of the alien vessels. It revealed their intentions, their technological capabilities, and most importantly, their weaknesses. Every scan they performed, every transmission they thought was secure, only added to Earth's understanding of their potential adversaries. "They're launching probe drones," Marcus reported, highlighting the small objects deploying from the alien vessels. "Looks like they're setting up for a deep scan of our defense systems." Alina allowed herself a small smile. "Let them look. Everything they see has been carefully crafted for their benefit." She turned to the quantum communication array. "Admiral Harrison, shall we give them something interesting to report back?" "Proceed with Phase 2, Harrison confirmed. "Let's show them just enough to make them curious, but not enough to make them nervous. We need the full coalition fleet for this to work." Deep within Earth's quantum defense network, systems that defied conventional physics began to shift. The false sensor readings they would feed to the alien probes had been carefully calculated to draw in their adversaries without revealing humanity's true capabilities. As the alien scouts continued their investigation, believing themselves undetected, humanity's leaders watched and waited. In conference rooms and command centers around the globe, men and women who had dedicated their lives to preparing for this moment knew that everything was proceeding according to plan. The real question wasn't whether Earth could defend itself. The question was whether the galaxy was ready for the truth about humanity's advancement. As Elena studied the holographic display of the alien vessels, she couldn't help but feel a mixture of pride and concern for what was to come. "They think they're here to judge our worthiness," she murmured, watching the probe drones move through their predetermined patterns. "They have no idea they're the ones being tested." Admiral Harrison's voice carried a note of grim satisfaction through the quantum link. "Then let's make sure they pass their test, Director Patel. The galaxy needs this lesson in humility, and we're just the species to teach it." As the alien vessels continued their reconnaissance, Earth's true defenses remained hidden, waiting for the moment when humanity would finally reveal just how far they had come. The game of shadows was about to enter its final phase, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Helix Confederation's War Council gathered in their crystalline chamber aboard the flagship, Eternal Dawn. High Commander Nyxis, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with anticipation, studied the reconnaissance data from Earth with growing confusion. The scout vessels had transmitted their findings just before inexplicably losing contact with the fleet. "Impossible," she muttered, her translucent fingers tracing the holographic patterns. "These readings contradict everything we know about human technological development." Admiral Vexther explained this discrepancy. The massive Arcturian admiral, his armored exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's ethereal light, stepped forward. "The scout vessels confirmed our initial intelligence. Earth appears technologically stagnant, yet—" He paused, mandibles clicking in frustration. "The quantum fluctuations they detected defy our understanding." Meanwhile, in Earth's quantum command, Elena Patel and Admiral Harrison watched the gathering alien fleet through their advanced detection systems. The invasion force was impressive. Over 300 vessels representing 7 different species, all unified in their belief that humanity needed to be brought under control. "They took the bait perfectly," Harrison observed, studying the tactical display. "The scout ship's disappearance has made them cautious, but not cautious enough to retreat." He turned to Elena. "Are the quantum defense grids ready?" Elena nodded, her fingers dancing across the neural interface. "All systems are operating at optimal efficiency. The dimensional anchor points are stable and the probability matrices are aligned." She allowed herself a small smile. "They won't know what hit them until it's too late." In space, the alien fleet advanced with what they believed was overwhelming force. Their ships moved in perfect formation, weapons primed and shields at maximum strength. High Commander Nyxis stood on her bridge, confident in their superior numbers and technology. "Begin the approach," she ordered. "All ships maintain quantum communication protocols. We will show these humans the futility of resistance." The fleet accelerated toward Earth's orbit, their engines leaving trails of exotic particles in their wake. The first sign that something was wrong came when their long-range sensors began showing contradictory readings. Space itself seemed to ripple around them, as if the fabric of reality was being gently manipulated by unseen forces. "High Commander," her science officer called out, alarm evident in his bioluminescent patterns. "We're detecting massive energy signatures emerging from what appeared to be empty space. They're everywhere." Around the alien fleet, points of light began to appear, each one a quantum anchor point that humanity had carefully positioned over the past 15 years. Earth's true defensive network was revealing itself, and it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Harrison's voice was calm as he gave the order, "Initiate Protocol Quantum Veil." The effect was immediate and devastating. Entire sections of the alien fleet found themselves trapped in localized time dilation fields. Others discovered their quantum drives had been seamlessly disabled by forces that rewrote the laws of physics in their immediate vicinity. Ships that tried to retreat found themselves moving through molasses-thick space, their most advanced technology rendered useless by humanity's mastery of quantum mechanics. High Commander Nyxis watched in horror as her fleet was systematically neutralized without a single shot being fired. "How is this possible?" she demanded. "They were supposed to be primitive." The answer came in the form of a transmission, broadcast simultaneously to every vessel in the invasion fleet. Admiral Harrison's image appeared on their command screens, his expression stern but not unkind. "This is Admiral Thomas Harrison of Earth's Global Defense Command. Your fleet has entered restricted space and demonstrated hostile intent. We have disabled your vessels as a precautionary measure. Your crews are unharmed, but you'll find your weapons and drive systems are no longer responsive." Alina watched the aliens' reactions through the quantum sensors, noting their mixture of fear, confusion, and awe. "Should we show them the rest of our capabilities?" she asked Harrison. He shook his head. "This is enough for now. Sometimes the most effective demonstration of power is in showing restraint." In the crystalline chamber of the Eternal Dawn, now floating powerless in space, the War Council sat in stunned silence. Their mighty fleet, assembled from the most powerful civilizations in known space, had been rendered impotent by defenses they hadn't even known existed. "We thought we were coming to subjugate a primitive species," Admiral Vexler said quietly. "Instead, we've awakened a giant that was merely pretending to sleep." Through the quantum communication network, Alina addressed the alien leadership directly. "For 15 years, you watched us withdraw from galactic affairs and assumed we were regressing. The truth is, we chose a different path of advancement. While you focused on expanding your empire across space, we learned to manipulate the fabric of reality itself." The implications of her words sent shockwaves through the alien command structure. Humanity hadn't been hiding in fear. They had been preparing, advancing, and waiting for this very moment. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted in an instant, and nothing would ever be the same. As the alien fleet hung motionless in space, surrounded by Earth's quantum defense grid, Admiral Harrison prepared for the next phase of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. The time for hiding was over. Now came the challenging part, teaching the galaxy's oldest civilizations that humanity was not to be underestimated. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Helix Confederation hummed with tense energy as representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations gathered for an emergency session. The recent demonstration of Earth's power had sent shockwaves through galactic society, and now the oldest empires in known space struggled to adapt to this new reality. Supreme Arbiter Calthex, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns that conveyed deep concern, addressed the assembly. "We face an unprecedented situation. The humans have concealed capabilities that surpass our collective understanding of physics. High Commander Nyxis, share your direct experience with the assembly." The bioluminescent commander's skin pulsed with remembered humiliation as she stepped forward. "Their technology didn't just defeat us, it rewrote the rules of engagement. They turned space itself against our fleet, and we were powerless to resist." In a secure chamber beneath the assembly hall, a different conversation was taking place. First Speaker Muridax of the Proximan Empire met secretly with representatives from the militant Arcturus coalition. Her serpentine form coiled tensely as she reviewed their options. "We cannot allow this power imbalance to stand," she hissed. "The humans must be contained before they decide to expand beyond their system." Meanwhile, on Earth, Alina Patel and Admiral Harrison were not as blind to these machinations as their adversaries believed. The quantum detection network had evolved far beyond simple spatial awareness. It could detect the subtle ripples of intention and deception across spacetime itself. "They're planning something desperate," Alina reported, studying the quantum probability matrices. "The Proximans are gathering support for a massive, coordinated strike. They believe if they hit us with enough force from multiple vectors simultaneously, they can overwhelm our defenses." Harrison stood before the Global Defense Council, his expression grave. "Let them come. Every attempt they make to probe our capabilities only reveals more of their own limitations." He turned to the assembled leaders. But we must be careful not to push them into a corner. Fear makes even advanced civilizations dangerous. Above Earth's atmosphere, a diplomatic vessel from the Helix Confederation approached with elaborate ceremonies of peace. Ambassador Thelkar, chosen for his reputation for mediation, had come to negotiate humanity's integration into the galactic community. The diplomatic reception took place in the newly revealed Quantum Nexus Station, a massive structure that had remained hidden in dimensional fold space until now. Ambassador Thelkar's compound eyes widened as he took in the impossible architecture, where corridors seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "We have much to learn from each other," Thelkar offered, his translator converting his harmonic speech patterns into English. "The Confederation offers friendship and exchange of knowledge." Alina, serving as Earth's chief negotiator, smiled politely. "We welcome peaceful exchange, Ambassador. But let us be clear, Earth's sovereignty is not negotiable, and any further military action against us will be met with consequences far beyond what we've already demonstrated." Through quantum sensors that the ambassador didn't know existed, she watched the subtle shifts in his bio readings that indicated deception. The diplomatic mission was a cover, buying time for the coalition fleet gathering in the shadows of the Uit cloud. In the Quantum Command Center, Marcus Wung monitored the building threat. "They're positioning quantum strike vessels at dimensional weak points. They think they've found gaps in our defense network." Admiral Harrison nodded grimly. "Let them think they've found our vulnerabilities. Everything they see is exactly what we want them to see." He turned to his tactical display, where the positions of Earth's true defensive capabilities remained hidden from alien sensors. "How long until they make their move?" "Probability matrices suggest between 48 and 72 hours, Alina reported. "They're waiting for optimal alignment of their forces." As the diplomatic talks continued on the surface, humanity's quantum defense grid silently adapted and evolved. Each probe and scan from the alien forces was analyzed and countered before it even reached its target. The aliens thought they were gathering intelligence, but they were actually being fed carefully crafted disinformation. In her private quarters, Alina reviewed the quantum projections of possible futures. The aliens' next attack would be massive, desperate, and doomed to fail. But the cost of that failure might shatter the galactic community's unity forever. "We need to find a way to show them the truth without destroying them," she murmured, watching the probability streams shift and flow. "They need to understand that we're not their enemy, we're their wake-up call." Ambassador Thelkar's voice echoed in the reception hall as he concluded his presentation. "The Confederation offers Earth a seat at the Grand Assembly. Together, we can build a future of shared prosperity." Alina's response was diplomatic but firm. "Earth appreciates the offer, Ambassador, but perhaps the question isn't whether Earth should join your assembly, it's whether the assembly is ready to accept what humanity has become." As the ambassador's ship departed the Quantum Nexus Station, carrying what he thought was valuable intelligence back to his superiors, humanity's leaders prepared for the coming storm. The aliens were about to learn that their understanding of humanity's capabilities was still only scratching the surface. The attack began with a quantum cascade designed to shatter Earth's defensive grid. Over 2,000 alien warships emerged simultaneously from hyperspace, their weapons already firing. First Speaker Muradax watched from her command ship as reality-splitting beams of energy converged on Earth's orbital defense points. "Victory through overwhelming force," she declared, her serpentine form coiled around her command throne. "Not even their quantum manipulation can withstand such concentrated power." Deep within Earth's quantum command, Alina Patel watched the assault unfold with calculated calm. The aliens had committed their entire military might to this single, devastating strike. It was exactly what humanity had been waiting for. "All attack vectors confirmed," Marcus reported, his hands steady on the quantum interface. "They're targeting the defensive grid points exactly where we led them to believe they existed." Admiral Harrison's voice carried across the command network. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Let's show them what we've really been working on for the past 15 years. As the alien weapons fire reached what they believed were Earth's defensive positions, something unprecedented occurred. The energy beams didn't impact shields or defensive barriers. They simply ceased to exist. The laws of physics in the space around Earth began to shift and transform in ways that defied conventional understanding. In her command ship, Muridax watched in horror as sections of her fleet began to phase out of normal space-time. What's happening? Where are my ships going? The answer came in the form of a quantum hologram that appeared simultaneously on every vessel in the attacking fleet. Alina's image stood before them, composed but resolute. Your weapons and ships haven't been destroyed. They've been relocated to a parallel probability space. We control not just the fabric of space-time, but the very nature of reality itself. As if to demonstrate her words, the relocated ships began reappearing in completely different positions, their weapons systems transformed into harmless energy collectors. The mighty invasion fleet found itself not just defeated, but fundamentally altered. Impossible, Supreme War Commander Vexther of the Arcturus Coalition bellowed, his armored exoskeleton rattling with rage. No civilization has mastered probability manipulation on this scale. That's because you've all been thinking linearly, Admiral Harrison's voice responded, calm and measured. While you focused on expanding through space, humanity chose to expand through possibility itself. We don't just see alternate realities, we shape them. The demonstration continued as Earth's true defensive capabilities revealed themselves. The quantum defense grid wasn't just a network of weapons and shields. It was a system for rewriting the fundamental rules of existence within its sphere of influence. Ships that tried to retreat found themselves gently but firmly relocated to holding positions. Weapons that fired simply had their energy redirected into peaceful applications. The most advanced alien technology was rendered not just ineffective, but irrelevant. Alina watched through quantum sensors as realization dawned across the alien fleet. Your civilizations have achieved remarkable things, she broadcast. But you've become stagnant, relying on force to maintain order. We're offering you a chance to evolve beyond that limitation. In the Quantum Command Center, Marcus monitored the aliens' responses. Their command structure is fracturing. Some want to continue fighting, others are calling for immediate surrender, and a few— He paused, double-checking his readings. A few are beginning to understand what we're really offering them. Admiral Harrison nodded. Those are the ones we need to focus on, the ones who can see beyond the immediate conflict to the greater possibility. Through the quantum network, Alina addressed the alien commanders directly. Look around you. We could have destroyed your fleet the moment it arrived. Instead, we're showing you that there are alternatives to destruction. Your weapons have been transformed into tools of creation. Your ships now generate sustaining energy instead of destructive force. The quantum hologram expanded, showing the alien leaders visions of possible futures where different species work together to explore not just space, but the very nature of reality itself. First Speaker Muridax's rigid military bearing slowly softened as understanding dawned. All this time, she whispered, we thought we were coming to conquer a primitive species. Instead, we were being invited to transcend our own limitations. In the command center, Alina and Harrison watched as the probability matrices shifted, showing new futures branching out from this moment. The galaxy would never be the same, but perhaps that had been the point all along. They're standing down, Marcus reported. All combat signals are going dark. They're requesting guidance. Alina smiled. Then let's give them something better than victory. Let's give them understanding. As the former invasion fleet hung suspended in Earth's quantum field, the true scope of humanity's achievement became clear. They hadn't just developed better weapons or stronger shields. They had fundamentally changed what was possible. And now, they were offering to share that knowledge with species who were ready to learn. 1 month after the failed invasion, the Quantum Nexus Station hosted representatives from every spacefaring civilization in known space. The station's dimensional architecture had been expanded, creating spaces that existed simultaneously in multiple probability states, allowing species with incompatible biology to interact directly for the first time. Alina Patel stood before the assembled delegates, her quantum interface showing her the overlapping waves of possibility emanating from this historic moment. What you experienced during the conflict wasn't just a demonstration of military power, she explained. It was proof that reality itself is more mutable than any of us imagined. The gathered aliens watched in amazement as she manipulated the quantum field around them, creating a visual representation of parallel probability spaces. Species that had been enemies for millennia saw their conflicts from new perspectives, understanding for the first time how their limited view of reality had perpetuated cycles of violence. Supreme Arbiter Calthex, his crystalline form now modified to exist in multiple probability states, addressed the assembly. We came to Earth believing we were the teachers, only to discover we were the students all along. The humans didn't just advance beyond us technologically, they found a completely different path of evolution. Admiral Harrison, standing beside Alina, nodded in agreement. We withdrew from galactic affairs 15 years ago because we saw the limitations of conventional advancement. Instead of building bigger ships or more powerful weapons, we learned to understand and manipulate the quantum nature of reality itself. In a secure chamber adjacent to the main hall, First Speaker Muridax met with former High Commander Nyxus, their previous animosity replaced by shared wonder. Our civilizations spent millennia fighting over resources, territory, and power, Muridax observed. Yet in a single month of studying human quantum technology, we've learned to create abundance from probability itself. Marcus Wang, now heading Earth's new quantum education initiative, demonstrated how simple adjustments to quantum fields could transform scarce resources into renewable energy, convert weapons into tools of creation, and heal environmental damage through probability manipulation. The technology isn't the real breakthrough, he explained to a group of alien scientists. It's the perspective shift. When you understand that reality is fluid rather than fixed, every problem becomes an opportunity for transformation. In Earth's quantum command, Alina and Harrison reviewed the probability matrices showing possible futures branching out from this moment. The patterns were more complex than ever, but they all shared a common thread, cooperation rather than conflict. They're adapting faster than we expected, Alina noted, watching as alien civilizations began implementing basic quantum field manipulations. Some of them are already developing applications we hadn't considered. Harrison smiled. That's exactly what we hoped for. We didn't want to simply dominate them, we wanted to catalyze their evolution. The changes rippled across the galaxy. Ancient enemies found ways to coexist in overlapping probability spaces. Worlds that had been rendered uninhabitable by warfare were restored through quantum environmental manipulation. Species that had been locked in biological stasis began exploring new forms of existence. In the main assembly hall, Ambassador Thelkar, who had once come to Earth as a spy, now stood as a leading advocate for galactic cooperation. We thought humanity's isolation was a sign of weakness, he addressed the gathered delegates. Instead, they were ascending to a level of existence we hadn't imagined possible, and now they offer us the chance to ascend with them. Alina's quantum sensors detected the subtle shifts in the fabric of reality as more and more civilizations embraced the new paradigm. The galaxy was transforming not through force or conquest, but through understanding and choice. This is just the beginning, she told Admiral Harrison as they watched ships from formerly hostile species working together to establish quantum communication networks. We've shown them the door, but they're already finding their own paths through it. The final session of the Galactic Assembly concluded with the establishment of the Quantum Cooperation Initiative, a framework for sharing knowledge and resources across all species. The old power structures of the Helix Confederation and other empires were being peacefully transformed into collaborative networks focused on exploration and growth. As the alien representatives departed the Quantum Nexus station, each returning to their homeworlds with new understanding and capabilities, Alina reflected on how far they had all come. Humanity's great revelation hadn't been about superior technology or military might. It had been about showing the galaxy a new way to exist. "We did it," Marcus said, joining her at the quantum observation deck. "We changed the galaxy without destroying it." Elena nodded, watching the probability streams flow into an increasingly harmonious future. "We didn't just change the galaxy, Marcus. We helped it grow up, and this is only the first step." As ships departed the Earth system, carrying the seeds of quantum understanding to every corner of known space, the true impact of humanity's quantum revolution was just beginning to unfold. The age of conflict was ending, replaced by an era of infinite possibility. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly the point.